Hey guys, thank you so much for joining today's video, whether you're new or whether you're returning. For those of you who don't know me and you are new, my name is Haley Moon and I'm the CEO of The Rules of a Big Boss LLC, and I also make these YouTube videos. This video has sort of been highly requested. It's more so some questions that I get asked pretty frequently by friends and people who have been on my page, because on my Instagram page, on my personal Instagram page, I tend to talk about different topics that I kind of talk about here on YouTube, except I kind of go into a little bit more detail. So as you can tell by the title of this video, the video is going to be about your decisions equals your desires. But before we get into that, I'm going to give you a few seconds to like this video, comment down below, and hit the subscribe button. We're going to give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, did you do it? All right, thank you so much. Now you can watch the video. Okay, so your decisions equals your desires. So, as you know, I'm breaking this down into parts, and this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because we're really just talking about the mind today. It's very simple. It's more so just getting into the mind so that you kind of understand your mind a little bit better rather than, some coping techniques and stuff as I've talked in previous videos. So, part 1, section 1 is going to be confirmation bias. So confirmation bias is basically, I've talked about this in my first video. So what confirmation bias is, it's basically this part in your brain where your brain cannot physically accept anything that it does not believe. So for example, say you believe that this wall isn't gray. You swear up and down it's white. If somebody tells you that it's white, even if they swatch a paintbrush across the wall, you are not going to believe it's white. In your mind, it's going to be gray because that is what you believe. Whatever you believe is what you receive. So if that's your belief, nobody can tell you anything different because your brain cannot accept it. And let's take it actually take this a step further. So for example, say you want to make $6,000 a month, right? And currently, say you're making, let's say maybe $400, maybe $1,000 a month. Maybe you make like $30,000 a year if you're working part-time or whatever. Say you want to make $6,000 a month, regardless. So if your brain only believes that you can make a set amount of money, I can only make $400 to $1,000 per month, your brain will reject anything that could potentially bring you that $6,000. Say you get an opportunity for a modeling gig. If you're modeling, say you get an opportunity for a better job that pays you more and it will give you more hours. Your brain physically will not be able to accept it. Your brain will tell you, nope, it's too good to be true. And then if you get any more than the amount that you already set in your mind, your rubber band will expand until it stretches. And what this rubber band is I've talked about this previously, but this rubber band is your limiting beliefs. This is where everybody has a level to where they accept something. Say you can only accept $2,000 a month. If you go let's say 2,500, your brain is going to be like, this doesn't feel safe. This doesn't feel safe anymore. My brain cannot accept it. Does not feel safe for me. This is not in my comfort zone. Even if it's abundance and you just have more than what you know what to do with, if your brain is not wired to be able to receive that, you will not be able to receive that. You will reject it and all that money is going to go away. That's a little bit about what confirmation bias is. This is your limitations. For another example, I believed that every relationship that I would be in would be negative because I assumed, like, for example, I assumed in middle school, right? So back in middle school, before I entered high school or whatever, and so on and so forth, I believed every guy was trash, every girl was trash, every relationship was going to be trash. It's just how it is. No relationship is going to go out of high school. I'm never going to meet this person, da 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 da. It just wasn't going to happen for me. And what happened? Let me go a little bit into detail. Let's tell you a story time really quick, actually. So these are my beliefs, right? And so what did I gravitate more towards? I gravitated towards not taking anyone seriously. And when I would take someone seriously, I couldn't accept it. I would self-sabotage. So I would sabotage the relationship by being closed off, by just not being willing to accept their love or affection or anything like that. I just simply couldn't do it. I wasn't healed. And of course I had other reasons for not accepting, the relationship and for the relationship having having its downfall. We both played our parts in the relationships that I have been in. But the biggest part is that my brain simply could not fathom that one, someone could love me that deeply, two, that people like that actually existed. It didn't exist for me. And every relationship I was in, it got worse every relationship that I entered. So that's another example. That's a more serious example, and that's one that's personal to me. And another example that isn't as serious, when I was doing yoga. So there's this crow pose. So basically what the crow pose is like say that this right here, the screen is the floor. So your arms would be like right here, and you would put your knees on the back of your elbow, and you would like lean forward, and you would hold your knees on your elbows, and you would hold that. That is called the crow pose. I simply could not believe that I could hold that, because I'm like, in my mind, I have zero upper body strength. That is not going to happen. And nobody could tell me otherwise, until eventually I said, well, why not? We'll get into that in a minute. So without further ado, part 2, why not? So instead of saying, what if, well, what if it doesn't turn out well? Well, what if, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, butta, as I like to say. I like to add the but at the end, because why not? But change your what ifs to why not. Why can't I receive this thing? If I want to be a millionaire, why not me? Why can't I be in that top 1% out of the 3% of the world that makes $30,000 a year, if that's your goal? Why can't I be in that top 33%? Why not? Why not me? Ask yourself that. Write down your whys. Every single thing that you believe that you cannot achieve and that you cannot receive, ask yourself why not, and then write it down. And then after you write that down, create a solution for it. This is how you are going to overcome your limiting beliefs. The second tip that I have for you is write down exactly what it would look like to have your desires. So for example, before I started driving, I wrote down, this is what it would look like to have this car. This is where I would go. This is who I would go see. This is who I would hang out with. This is what I would have in my car. And I even went as far as buying the stuff for my car before I even had it. I'm so serious. I bought the car key fob because I like everything I have to look beautiful. I wanted a car key case. I wanted everything. I had my steering wheel cover. I had everything. And I simply don't care. Like, I put myself in those types of positions in order to be able to receive that desire, to make my brain forced to be like, okay, this is something we can have because we're already here. We're already around people who have cars. So why not me? Okay. Part 3. Not part 3, but third tip. Third tip. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So say you don't have your desire just yet, right? If you see people who have your desire, you see people who are where you want to be, that is a sign that it is coming to you. That is a sign that it is close by and that it is around the corner. If you don't have it yet, it could be one of 2 reasons. The first reason is you are limiting yourself. And the second reason is redirection is God's protection. If you are rejected, that rejection is never truly rejection. It is only redirection, and it will redirect you in another direction that will bring forth your desire. So part 3, actual part 3 this time. So the third step is to decide that you get to have it. For example, I was really young when I first started ballet, and I couldn't do the splits to save my life. I couldn't do the splits. I couldn't touch my toes. My legs and my mind were just not flexible. It just was not going to happen. Until one day I started getting to yoga because I wanted to get more flexible. I wanted to really work on my flexibility, and I wanted to work out in a way that was fun and that I could move, I could make shapes with my body. That's how I wanted to exercise, correct? So eventually, as I started doing all these stretches, I did it for years and I could still not even touch my toes. And then I asked myself, why? I've been doing this for 2 years. At the time, it was 2 years. I was like, I've been doing this for 2 years and I still can't touch my toes. Why? And then what happened? I'm so serious when I say I touched my toes that same day. When I was reaching for them, I was little on my shins, and I was like, why not? And why didn't I reach this yet? And then I started reaching further, and then next thing I know, I'm touching my toes. It happened the same with the splits. I asked myself, why not? And before I even got a new job, I decided that I got to have a new job. I decided that if this is a desire that I have and I can visualize myself having this desire, then that comfort, going back to the confirmation bias, if I can rewire my brain into believing that I can receive this thing, my brain will automatically go towards this thing and I will start to take the continuous steps and do the inner work in order to receive this desire. Last part, the final part is you versus your mind. And I love this part. This is absolutely my favorite tip, my favorite part. I remember hearing this in a video. I don't remember the video, but you versus your mind is so powerful. You need to ask yourself, who is deciding this limiting belief? Is it your brain telling you you can't have this desire, or are you telling your brain you can't have this desire? If you don't have the desire yet, chances are that you are listening to your brain. You are not listening to yourself. You're not listening to the desires of your heart. You are listening to your brain. You're listening to your logical brain that wants to keep you safe rather than your radical brain, the radical side that could bring you so much success and abundance. So that is our little mini video, and a lot of the videos will start to be like this so that, I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time to, watch longer videos, but those are available to you, and I will do those every now and again, but for now, this is around the length that it will stay at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me a comment down below. Make sure you share this video. Bye. Love you.